Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. This is the very first edition of our episode of the Messages of Inspiration, Hope, and Support webinar. We are so thankful that you joined us today. I'm Jim Grant. I'm the co-founder of Speakers Pathway Coalition. Don McGrath and I founded Speakers Pathway Coalition. We also the host of Your Futures Now on Toginet Radio. And speaking of Speakers Pathway Coalition, if you go to speakerspathway.com, in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see the TEDx training. Don will give you his free 5 simple steps to a kick butt TED Talk. In addition, we have partnered with Network Together. They're out in Phoenix, Arizona. They build a community of entrepreneurs and business owners from all walks of life, from accountants to investors to real estate agents and so forth, about helping one another through networking. To learn more about them, go to ntevents.net. Ladies and gentlemen, today on our show, we got 3 fantastic speakers. A little later today, we'll hear from Angela Marie Monticelli, how to release negative, fearful energy. Then John Clarkson will join us. He will talk about how fear and faith are similar, and of course, how they're different. But our very first speaker today will be Kimberly Miner. Kimberly is one of our executive not our executive, but our training directors there in Phoenix. And I'm fooling around with the start the video here and trying to unmute her. And anyway, she's going to be talking to us today about resilience and buoyancy and how it is our solid foundation. And Kimberly, are you there, please? Just click on your video.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kimberly. We're so thankful to have you. I know we're very excited about what you're going to be sharing with everyone today. So I've got one thing to say to you. It is showtime. Go, girl.
Absolutely. I'm so happy to be here and so happy to be able to share some insight. This is a different time for all of us here. And, it's one that hopefully we can, all of us, in all of our words today, we can share a little bit of insight to each and every one of us. So with that, let me say resilience and buoyancy is our solid foundation. The goal of resilience is to thrive. Let's take a second to let that set in. How does that have anything to do with what any one of us is experiencing at this moment in the unknown of what is going on right now? As I refer to what is going on right now as the proactive shutdown of the coronavirus. But we're going to get back to that in a moment. Buoyancy, by definition, is optimistic and cheerful disposition. Take a second. What is that definition? And how does that definition fit into your life right now? Does it? And should it? Should that definition fit into your life right now? Each and every one of us are getting an opportunity to experience a moment in time right now that was not created by hate, nor by war, nor by an act of violence. We are facing a by chance of circumstances that is allowing each of us an amazing, unforeseen moment to see just how resilient and buoyant each one of us are and actually thrive in this unknown time. So yes, if you use what you already possess as your foundation, you will find your resilience in your buoyancy and actually thrive. I find at times that as many adversities that I have faced, I have to be reminded myself of my own personal resilience to bounce back and to thrive. This past weekend, I just had that afforded to me in abundance. I can tell you that at times, it seems that at moments, that there is never-ending struggles of getting on back on track of the aftermath of the experiences that I've had this past fall. When my husband went through the French doors of our house to attack me, and I'm going to tell you that from that moment forward, it has been something of it seemed like a never-ending disaster, which is so much of what all of us are feeling, is that it's just like every day there's something different that keeps coming up, and we're going, when is it going to end? When is it going to end? The next couple days, my husband went a step further. He went and he closed out the bank accounts and left me penniless, thinking that, again, another step that he was going to take something from me. And then he went another step, and he thought he would block me from all the accounts, and he would break me from being able to exist from day to day. Here in Arizona, we have found that we've had an unusual amount of rain, which is extremely unusual this time of year, especially. I have found a great amount of pride that I have put in my front and backyard in the time I've taken to build it up and the investment I've put into it. And I can tell you, with the amount of rain we've had, that the utmost abundance of what I now refer to as the Wild West amount of weeds that are about knee high, that is showing in a continuous amount of dismay to my neighbors. And I have found myself allowing myself to become over-amounting in consumption of trying to find landscaping companies to come out and try to take care of this mess that I have found myself in, with all of this Wild West of weeds everywhere I turn, to try to take care of this ugliness scene that is out there for myself and my neighbors to see on a day-to-day basis. And, you know, right now, I can tell you is that price gouging is at an ultimate high, with people trying to take advantage of the situation that's going on right now. And with the amount of money that they're wanting to try to charge me, I just can't afford that kind of money within the midst of the divorce that I'm going through. So this past Saturday happened, and let's just call it, I don't know, out of boredom, maybe intrigue, I don't know, call it a small challenge to myself while I was waiting for a friend to get to my house. I thought, I guess maybe I'll just start pulling the weeds myself. Well, my friends, I'm going to tell you, pulling the weeds became an obsession. Anyone that knows me, that once I start something, I just can't seem to leave it alone. And a couple of weeds turned into a quarter of the yard. And as I was pulling the weeds, out of nowhere, I had a teenage neighbor boy come over to me. And he said, "Can I help you pull the weeds?" Matter of fact, he said, "Can I help you pull the weeds, and then I can help cut your grass and clean your pool for you?" And I can tell you that in a split second, I had two thoughts go through my head. And that was, one, what would possess a teenage boy without being persuaded or told to come over and want to spend 2 days helping a woman do manual labor of pulling the weeds and spend his time doing that versus anything else? The other thought that went through my head was, when my son was at that at that age that he is, there's no way, without complaining, whining, or an argument, would have in his mind walked away from a video game or anything else he was doing and said, "Oh, by all means, let me please help you, spend 2 days of pulling weeds, cutting grass, and cleaning the pool." But as I stood there, I still had an earbud in my ear playing the music. And as the music was playing, one of my favorite songs came on, and it was called "A Little Bit Stronger" by Sarah Evans. And tears filled in my eyes. And as I looked back as a young man, I replied, that would be most wonderful, as the resilience started kicking in. As the hours continued, I pulled more weeds with that young man by my side, and we then continued to trim all the bushes. And then we continued to finish the process on Sunday. Something started to happen in that process. I was showing my resilience and thriving in my environment. With every section of the yard that got finished, I felt more and more buoyant. For a second, I thought, I'm taking me back or putting order back into my life. And then I realized I've just had resilience and buoyancy throughout this entire process of heartache and divorce thus far. I had just needed to stop, listen, and dig deeper within me than I ever had before to find it. Every time I was pulling the weeds out and clearing an area, I was thriving on the foundation that had already been there the whole time to get me through every step of the way, and will continue to do so even if unknown. That is exactly what is going on right now, is that we have the wherewithal within us. We just have to find it. You have to just dig deeper than you ever had before. You just need to tune out the noise so that you can listen, stop and listen and hear what it is that your inner is telling you. What you are looking for is within you. That is one of the greatest quotes that I've ever found, that I've printed out and I carry around within me. I'm going to offer that to you, to take this to help you in this transitional time that we're going through right now. I challenge each of you to take a moment to reflect when you've had a biggest challenge that has occurred in your life. Those were the times of unknown. Probably a bit scary, worrisome. Did you have a sleepless night or two? Right? I'm sure you did. Your resilience is what made you thrive. Whether or not it was successful is irrelevant, because that is what made you who you are today. Where you're at today is a result of what the process was of what you went through. When a curveball or the unexpected happens, can be human nature to be reactive, and in the craziness, forget just what all the truth of what we're capable of weathering. It is so true, is that on all the craziness of everything that we're hearing, is that we forget of what we are truly capable of getting through as a person, as a nation, is that we are much stronger than what we possibly think that we are. During this time, I would build momentum and invest in your greatest asset, you. How can you do that? By being a resilient mindset. What is that? That is the ability to adapt and bounce back when things aren't going as planned. Learn from mistakes and move forward rather than wallow and dwell on failures. Resilience is a mindset. And not only a mindset, but a choice. And each time we are confronted with a situation, we can break down, which allows us to have a breakthrough, or we can just break down. In every situation, we have that choice. Right now, with what's going on, we get a choice in the matter. We can either break down in this to have a breakthrough of where we want to go from here, or we can stay within where we are and have a breakdown. Where do you think you're going to fit, that's going to fit best for you? Where it's going to serve you best moving forward? My definition, my definition of breakdown was exactly what I have experienced this past year. Buoyancy is definitely what had kept the smoke and mirror nightmare alive in my new marriage of just 14 months. The ultimate breakdown started when my son enlightened me that there was whiskey being hidden in my mouthwash bottle underneath the sink. At that moment, my fairy tale wedding and my fairy tale marriage came to an abrupt stop. I had to acknowledge the fact that what I thought was this amazing life that I had entered was not what I thought it was. I had to acknowledge the things that were going on. So I thought I had known all the signs because I had been down this road before. My first husband was an alcoholic. I knew all the signs. You know, we've been through different circumstances of things that have gone in this country. We've been down this road before. We know what a breakdown is. You know, I had endless nights of where my husband would come in the middle of the night, and he would turn all the lights on. He'd rip all the sheets off, and he'd shake me vigorously until I woke up and scream at me for hours and hours on end. He would have evenings of running down the hall and barge through the door that I had locked to make sure that I felt safe where he couldn't get through, but he was going to show me at 6 foot, 250 pounds, that he knew that he could show me that he was in power, and that I had this feeling of what was going to happen on the other side. But this is where my breakthrough happened in my breakdown, is that I chose to have the moment that I was going to thrive. I was going to thrive, and I was going to take control over me. I was going to take control and say, it didn't matter that this was a short marriage, and I choose to live. During this time, you get to have your greatest breakthrough. Let your resiliency work for you, and zero in on the 4 assessments. Time. How have you been using your time up to this point? During this time, how are you dictating your time? Are you using your time over the things that you do have control over? There's so many things during this time that are going on that we don't have control over. So take control of what it is that you do. Or are you focusing on what's going on in the social media with all the negativity and allowing the negativity to control your day? Tasks. What are the things that you've been putting off for months or years? Put a list together of things that you can get accomplished. If you are not able to go to a job because they said that you need to stay at home, and there's things that you cannot work from home because of the job that you do, figure out things that you can do that take up the time that you would normally be at work. There is actually a process that starts to happen that is healthy and helpful for you as a person that happens in the process of doing reorganization. Reflective. Give yourself credit during this time for what you have achieved. If you can't think of anything, you need to stop right now where you are, and you need to look around at everything that is around you and give yourself credit for that. It is difficult to move forward when you don't realize what you already have, no matter how small it is. It's all about the journey that is even more important than the end goal. Self-assessment. We all start with a goal in mind, and we're provided opportunities that propel us forward to move along. And then as we're moving along, sometimes we're provided other opportunities that were meant to go in a different direction. And when those things happen, those are amazing opportunities that we're afforded. And do not be disappointed when those things happen. Because if we never started that beginning goal, we would never meet where it is that we were supposed to eventually go to. So right now, I say, do a self-assessment. Where are you right now? You have the perfect time at your opportunity of this downtime to look at where have you been, where are you now, and where is it that you see yourself moving forward. It is so important to self-advise yourself as you continue to go through times, hard times, or times of difficulty, because it allows you to process where you've been, where are you now, and where do you want to go in the future. There's no better time to revisit your inner self of resilience and buoyancy, and where it is of your goals and where you think your best ability to thrive is. We do not learn from experience. We learn from reflecting on our experiences, from John Dewey. So as I said, with self-reflection, reflect on your experience. The proactive shutdown coronavirus is the problem. It is your resiliency and your buoyancy that is going to provide you the moment to do your best. Each of you already have the solid foundation that you need to thrive during this time. Sometimes we just need to be reminded to keep becoming a greater version of who we already are. Thank you.
Kim, thank you so much for that inspiring story. I mean, every time I hear you talk about what you've overcome, it truly does touch me. And I know it touches a lot of people out there. And I want to thank you for your time today and for being with us today and sharing your amazing story. Don and I are so fortunate to have you as a chapter training director there in Phoenix. We're very honored to be associated with you. And again, thank you so very much. To all the listeners out there, I know they appreciate it. Thank you, Kim. Have a wonderful day.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me do a little work here. We're so glad to have Kim with us today. And most importantly, our show is brought to you by speakerspathway.com. And at speakerspathway.com, we offer a lot of, or in fact, about 6 different complimentary gifts. And if you go there to speakerspathway.com, you can pick up one of the complimentary gifts, such as content checklists for converting strangers into clients. That's one of our gifts to you at speakerspathway.com. Also at Network Together, they're a business owners group of business owners and entrepreneurs. They are meeting online Monday through Friday, and they're helping build their community. So please feel free to join them and go to networkntevents.net and find out more about them. And right now we've got a gentleman that is coming to us from Colorado Springs, Colorado. Let me get him here all turned on and do my business here. There he is, Mr. John Carlson. Excuse me. John, amazing, because you're going to be talking to us about something that really hits home to me and everyone else. That is how fear and faith are similar. And most importantly, how fear and faith are different. John, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Jim.
You bet. Go ahead, sir.
Well, I wanted to say thanks to everybody who's watching. I hope you're all staying safe and happy and healthy. There seems to be an awful lot to worry about these days. You turn on the news and COVID-19 and the economy right there alone seem to be plenty of things to be afraid of. So I wanted to take a little time today to talk a little bit about worry and fear. And I would say that as a society, we've become habitual worriers. Now, that's not to say that there's nothing to worry about, but a lot of the things that we worry about, we really shouldn't. In fact, tends to be unproductive, and in many cases tends to actually be negative towards us. A big chunk of the things that we worry about are things that have happened in the past, then there's nothing we can do to change those. So there's no point in worrying about those whatsoever. Another really big chunk of things that we tend to worry about are things that are never going to happen. Researchers at Penn State University, in a recent study, they found that about 91% of the things that their people that they studied worried about things that never occurred. And 91% of the worries they had never occurred. It's only about 9% of the things that they were worrying about actually did occur. And this is fairly typical of these kinds of studies. You can look out there and find them. Basically, a lot of times we just end up worrying about things that we probably shouldn't worry about. And so when you look at it, you got your worry, your fear, and on one and you also have faith or your confidence in things. These are really two sides of the same coin. And so to explain that, let me just say, you might say something along the lines on the fear side of, I'm afraid I won't have money to pay my bills, or I'm worried that I'm going to get COVID-19, or a family member of mine is going to get COVID-19. Or if you're a business owner, you may be thinking, gosh, how am I going to make payroll? Or is my business going to survive this pandemic? On the flip side of that, you may hear statements like, say statements like, I'm confident I'm going to have the money to pay my bills. I'm going to find a way to pay my bills. I know that my family and I, we're going to get through this pandemic together. Or I know that my business will survive. We're going to dig in. We're going to make what needs to happen. We're going to get support from the community, and we're going to make it through this. Now, when you hear those types of statements, which ones are you most likely to hear from other people? And which ones are you most likely to say yourself? Do you tend to have more of the fear-based ones, I'm afraid that I'm not going to have this, or I'm afraid this is going to happen? Or more of the faith-based, I'm confident that this will come out okay? So what I said before was both fear and faith are really two sides of the same coin. Both of them are feelings that we are experiencing right now in the present, and those feelings are directed towards future events, things that haven't happened now. And you ultimately, right now in the present, have a choice on how to perceive the future, the things that haven't happened. When you fear or worry, you're expecting a negative outcome. You're expecting negative things to come out of the future. When you have faith or confidence, you're expecting a positive outcome. You're expecting things that are going to work out well out of the future. How you choose to feel right now in the present is entirely your choice. You can be afraid of the future. You can look to the future knowing that things are going to be okay. And a way to kind of think about that, when you look back over the path of your life, you've had challenges, you've had adversity, you've had things you've had to overcome, and you've come out of them. They actually made you stronger. Those things made you stronger for it. You look back and you can see a path that leads up to where you are now, and you made it through. When you look into the future, you can't see that path. But know that in the future, when you get there, you will be able to look back and see you're going to make it okay. So which to focus on? Positive potential, negative potential? I like to use my motorcycle analogy to kind of help make this a little clearer. Any of you motorcycle riders out there, if you haven't ridden a motorcycle, one thing you learn pretty quickly on a motorcycle is where you look is where you tend to go. If you look off to the left, your motorcycle and your body tend to travel to the left. You look off to the right, your motorcycle and body tend to travel to the right. If you need to turn around, you need to stretch your neck and look behind you, because where you look is where you are going to go. So how this ends up tripping up some novice motorcycle riders is when they're going along on the road, there may be an obstacle, a rock, a stick, a pothole, something that they need to go around. Well, inexperienced riders, what they tend to do is they tend to focus on that obstacle. They're looking straight at it, and because of that, their motorcycle tends to travel towards that obstacle. By focusing on that obstacle, they're actually causing themselves to collide with that obstacle. the way that they should handle it is not to focus on the obstacle, but to focus on where they want to be, the path beyond the obstacle. When they do that, they need to be aware of the obstacle, but they focus on where they want to go, and they circumnavigate the path around the obstacle and get there. That's the same thing in life. When we tend to focus on those worries and the bad things that can happen, we have a habit of steering ourselves into those unfavorable outcomes. You know, you by focusing instead on the positive, where you want to be, the positive result and the positive outcome, you tend to make it easier for yourself to reach that outcome. So what happens when you get into some serious trouble? I mean, it's happening now, obviously. There's people that have, lost their job, or they've been laid off indefinitely, and they're not sure when they're going to get back. Businesses that are suffering because they don't have, they're not having regular customers, or perhaps they're not even able to operate. Well, when that happens, I would suggest a simple 3-step process to help get you through it. And I wish I could take credit for it, but this is actually from Dale Carnegie. You're probably known mostly for his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. He also wrote one called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. And that's where this one comes from. And if you want to learn more about it, I highly recommend that book. It's a great read. But, if you've got that situation, maybe you've been laid off indefinitely. Ask yourself first, what's the worst that can possibly happen if I can't solve my problem? Maybe you can't pay your bills and you end up mangling your credit. Maybe that's the worst that's really going to happen to you. Oftentimes the things that we fear, we don't actually go and assess what's the full potential damage. We don't want the unfavorable outcome, and we tend to be afraid of it without really evaluating. So make sure you take the time to evaluate what is the worst outcome. Maybe it's more than that. Maybe you got a car payment, and if you can't make your car payment, your car is going to get repossessed. Or perhaps it's even worse than that. Maybe you've got a mortgage payment, and if you can't make your mortgage payment, your house is going to get foreclosed. Or if you can't make your rent payment, you get evicted. So first and foremost, ask yourself, what's the worst that's going to possibly happen if I can't solve the problem I'm having? Once you've done that, prepare yourself mentally to accept the worst if necessary. Say to yourself, wow, okay, that's the worst that could happen. I might lose my house, or I might lose my business. Take ownership of that mentally, and understand and accept that that may very well happen. And when you do that, you no longer have to worry about it. It's almost as if a weight gets lifted off your shoulders. You see the worst possible outcome. You've accepted that might actually be a reality. And now you don't have to spend any more time worrying about it. Instead, what you can do is calmly try to improve upon the worst case scenario. So maybe you don't have to lose your house. Maybe if you can keep enough of a payment going to your mortgage lender, they'll let you stay in your house. Maybe you've got to take less desirable outcomes. Maybe you have to sell off your car in order to try to come up with more money to pay off your mortgage. I don't know. It's obviously going to be very dependent on your situation and what you're going through. But the point is, once you've accepted that this is the worst that can possibly happen, you now have the ability to take action, not just worry and think, but actually take action and try to improve that outcome, make it better than what the worst possible is going to be. So the last thing I would like to talk about on this topic is one habit that I've found to be very helpful for me, and I found other people have found this very helpful as well, and that is to start a gratitude journal. We tend to spend our times worrying about things. We tend to spend our time thinking about the things we don't have, thinking about the things we can't do, thinking about the limitations and the lack in our lives. And because of that, it tends to be unproductive and not helpful to us. Taking the time to write down some things that we're grateful for has some very positive qualities. It's a little difficult to start with, especially if you're not used to the idea, to sit there and actually think about the things that you're grateful for. It's actually kind of difficult, but you can find at least a few things to start with. And what I would suggest is, do whatever you can, whether maybe once a day you sit down and think of one thing you're grateful for. Or if you can, maybe do a few more. Do like 3 things that you're grateful for. Or if you can do more than that as you get better, get up to 10 things that you're grateful for a day. And by doing that, what you'll find is you start focusing on the things that you have in your life that are positive. You start to appreciate those more. You start to worry less. And what's more, you actually begin to bring in more positive things in your life because now you're starting to look for those things and you're bringing them into you. So my suggestion, the fear and faith, really just 2 sides of the same coin. All it really is your feelings that you're having right now in the present moment that are directed towards future events. It's your choice whether to spend your time worrying or to spend your time being confident and having faith. My suggestion would be try to spend a little more time being grateful for the things that you have in your life and looking for ways that you can help others and know that you're going to be taken care of. So I want to say thanks to everybody for your time and attention. And I hope this has been helpful to you at all. Thank you to Speakers Pathway Coalition and Jim and Don for giving me the opportunity to speak. And I will go ahead and finish my speech. Thank you.
John, thank you so very much for sharing that with us. And, as you were talking, one of the things that I have found in my life when sleep does not come at night, I just simply lay there and I start thinking, I'm thankful for my health. I'm thankful for my dog. I'm thankful for this. And I just keep going on and on and on. And for some reason, I've never been able to run out of things. And the next thing I know, I drift off to sleep. Because it's amazing when you start looking on the outside of what you really, the blessings that you have in your life. If you got health and heartbeat in your veins and breath in your lungs, you got a fighting chance now, and to be able to keep everything in perspective and not let those things get you out of control. John, would you be so kind as to share your website with the folks so they can get to know you? Because I know you're retired, you're retired what, Sergeant First Class or Master Sergeant?
No, actually, I'm not retired. I was a captain in the Air Force.
Oh, Captain in the Air Force. Excuse me, sir. I'm an old retired Master Sergeant, but please share your websites and get to know a little bit more about you, sir.
Oh, yes, certainly. Well, you can go to www.sphereand.com and just look up Colorado Springs, and that shows kind of what we've got going on there. Basically, we're trying to help people, find jobs and find them the jobs that they love to do. So yeah, definitely reach out. And I know a lot of people are having trouble with that right now. So now is a great time to reach out and see if we can get help.
Absolutely. And John, again, I want to thank you on behalf of all the people that's listening in, either live or they'll be watching this on the recording. Thank you so much for sharing everything that you did with us today. It really is going to bless a lot of people. And again, thank you, sir, from the bottom of our hearts. Hope you have a wonderful day, sir.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate the opportunity and appreciate that practice you shared as well. That sounds like, I think I'll actually try that.
Thank you, John. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And ladies and gentlemen, it's just really a blessing for us to have John Carlson on with us and all the good speakers that we got coming up. The video will be recorded and it will be available at Speakers Pathway Coalition. The website, or the link will be there on the Facebook page, and also go to speakerspathway.com. We got a lot of free gifts there for you. One of these gifts here, check this one here out. It's a free complimentary gift. It says how to get out of debt, boost your active income, and start investing for passive income. That's a wonderful gift there. It's yours free. Please go to speakerspathway.com and get it. Also, the good folks at Network Together, they're masters at being able to bring people together at the community level at a grassroots effort for your community. And if you'd like to reach out to them and say, hey, in my community, we could have some work. We need some organization for business owners, entrepreneurs from all walks of life. Tell me more. Just go to ntevents.net. And folks, the third speaker we got today is a lady known as the Shine On Lady. She's a great friend of ours. We love her dearly. Her name is Angel Marie Monticelli. Let me do a little work here and cut her video on and bring her up here. And let me see, I didn't do that right, did I? Okay, I think Angel, can you There you are, Angel. How are you?
Fabulous. Thank you so much.
Yeah, she's the Shine On Lady. And ladies and gentlemen, today, Angel is going to share with us, she's just how to release negative, fearful energy. Oh my goodness. So, Angel, I got one thing to say to you. It's showtime. The stage is yours. Thank you so much.
Everything is energy. Pain, sadness, fear, hopelessness, anger, feeling of helplessness. Yet, my good friend Einstein, he said, and I quote, energy never dissolves. It merely changes forms. Got me thinking. So that's why I believe you can change the form of pain, fear, hopelessness, negative energy to joy, peace, appreciation, and love. I promise you that you are going to get a fresh new look at negative energy. And this is why. Just imagine almost dying not once, not twice, but 3 times. You see, I was in so much stress, from financial to relationships to my career, also to the world, what's going on in the world, that when I went to the doctor, he said, you're about this close to having a heart attack. I looked at him, he's like, what are you doing? And I said, well, right now I own a wellness center where I'm helping people to get well. And he said, this wellness center is going to kill you if you don't get out of this stress. I remember walking out of that office and thinking, wow, I was in this fog going down the hall, getting in my car, thinking, who can I call? What is really happening to me right now? Fast forward, my 4-legged, my companion, my beautiful Dax dog died. And when I walked into that wellness center and looked around and said, wait a minute, what's happening? I ended up closing down the wellness center I loved, filing bankruptcy, and going on a journey of self-care, putting myself first and studying the ways how. And then I started doing coaching classes and started coaching and started getting out there for classes, and fast forward, life happened again. And I started to get muscles. Everything was hurting. Everything was hurting on me. I couldn't sleep. I was just in this place of, I went to the doctor again. And the doctor says to me, you have mold poisoning. Mold poisoning? Thinking, how did I get mold poisoning? Then I remembered. I looked at him and I said, am I going to die? And he looked at me and he said, well, you are previously diagnosed with lupus, fibromyalgia, arthritis, and Sjogren's, all immune system. You're at high risk. Took me back. I mean, I had to take a moment and say, okay, look at what I'm doing with this stress. Look at what I'm doing. Am I really taking care of myself? And again, I went back to studying and taking care of myself. And I went back to self-centered, to take care. Stuff started to happen again. Then let's fast forward again. I started to feel the stress of finances, relationships, feeling alone, the fear of what's happening in the world. And I completely fell apart again. Number 3. This time was different. I took action and I started to study the power of food, the power of mindset, and the power of energy healing. And you know what? I took my power back because I combined them all. And when I did, what happened was I improved my health. And so today I have more clarity, joy, focus, being able to laugh and to share. And you know what? I have incredible energy and high energy. And I remember what Einstein said, change the form of energy. And you will be able to change pain, stress, fear, panic, and flow with life. And you know, for over 30 years, I've been working with my immune system diseases. And I'm an expert in helping you to flow with life and flow with ease and grace. So here's a really fun self-care technique. And you know that you can use every time you wash your hands. Now, washing your hands is very important. They want you to wash your hands for how long right now? 20 seconds. That's at least 2 breaths. We'll come back to that. Every red light and every time you use the restroom, so that you can flow with ease throughout your life. So let's do this. So go ahead and let's get up. If you can get up and you're at home, go ahead and get up. And if you can't, let's sit up so that you're sitting up so that all of your energy is out. And you start to breathe. There you go. And then you know what we're going to do is we're going to do the shine. We're going to do the shine on shake. That's for another thing. Excuse me. And I want you to do the shine on shake and kind of just move out the energy because it'll help you move your energy. There you go. You know, we are hardwired for flight or flight. That's where our brain goes. But you know what? Changing that form, that energy, and to take action, this can be really fun. So what I'm going to teach you is a method that Dr. Branson developed in the 1970s from Harvard Medical School. And it's diaphragmatic breathing, belly breathing, right? Belly breathing, coming from your belly. Just breathing. So I'm going to move back so you can do this with me. What I want you to do is I want you to put a hand here and put your other hand here. And I want you to take a deep breath. And as you take a deep breath, where's your hands moving? If they're moving here, we need it to be here. So breathe in again, big breath, and feel where your body is moving. Where's your hands moving? It's moving from here probably. We're mostly always backwards breathers. We are, because we've never been taught. So here we go, diaphragmatic breathing, belly breathing. So put both of your hands here. Guys, men, left hand on top. Women, right hand on top. That's a Tai Chi thing. We'll get to that later too. So right hand on top, ladies. And now what I'd like you to do is watch my stomach only. And I want you to breathe in. The belly comes out. And breathe out. And the belly comes in. And you don't have to suck. It's really that easy to breathe in and breathe out. Right? Let's do it slowly this time. I'm going to move in just a little. Well, I'm going to stay back right here so you can see my belly. And I want you to watch here. Right hand on top, ladies. Left hand on top, guys. And here we go. We're going to breathe in. Belly comes out. Breathe out. Belly comes in. Okay, you got it? And you're going to keep working on this. I really invite you to keep working on this because it'll help everything, your immune system to everything. We'll get to that. So again, what I'd like to do also is teach you a 6 to 8 breath. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. So here you go. Get ready to do the 6. So you're going to do 6 in. Hold for 2. Out for 8. So closing your mouth and breathing in through your nose for 6. You have nose hairs for a reason to filter. So again, breathing in for 6. Hold and out through slip mouth for 8. Good, good. How's that feel? If you're getting dizzy, you're not igniting those cells. And did you know, keep breath, keep your breath, keep your breath, and keep your rhythmic breathing while I'm talking, that when you breathe in, every millisecond, you make 500,000 new cells. How are you making that cell? Probably not with the breath that helps to have you feel better in your immune system. What happens is we restrict. And most people do because we don't take that deep breath. So working on that 6 2, 8. So important right now to do this, and you can do this at any time. So, think about the weightlifters. When they get ready to weightlift, they breathe in, and they have more strength. Think about the swimmers when they want to have more breath. What happens? And then they go underwater, and they have more energy. It's just like the professional athletes, and also for us, the professional speakers. We're taught how to breathe in, and the belly comes out. And as we talk, we breathe out, and we're talking as we breathe out, right? And it's amazing. Also, another thing, breathing in again. Let's do it one more time. Let's do it. Breathing in for 6. Hold and out. Good. And one of my clients even said to me after he learned this technique that he was able to walk away from a very stressful situation where normally he would just like, whoosh, he would go off. And he was able to walk away, do this breathing technique, come back, and he was able to have more clarity and focus, and was able to help others and maintain a positive action. And he was also inspired action. So when you feel this coming on, this is a good time for you to walk away, to look away, to be able to take a moment and do this breathing. So I really invite you to lay down and do these back and forth, because it will help you to maintain that balance. And also to remember that every millisecond, you release 500,000 cells. So when you release those 500,000 cells, releasing the negative, breathe in the positive, breathe in those 500,000 and ignite them with that breath, and then release. The other thing too, this is so crazy, but it's great, is that when you breathe in with all that beauty and love and light, and you hold, as you breathe out, you actually lose weight. It's true, you actually lose weight. It is a gene that is a fat gene in your lungs. It's proven. So when you breathe out, for that 8, you're actually losing weight. Oh, that's a plus, right? Absolutely. So, your big takeaway today is how to release negative energy and help boost your immune system. It's just to breathe. It is to breathe, consciously breathe in and out, because you will ignite every cell, every energy cell and vibration will shine bright, and your vibration will go out. So I promised you a fresh new perspective about how to release negative energy and unwanted energy. And now you have proven strategy to use every time you're at a red light, every time that you're in the restroom, and every time you take that 20 seconds to wash your hands with hot water, right? What you're going to do is you're going to take those breaths. 6, 2, 8. And you may adopt some other ones. Don't be stuck on that. Maybe you do 4, 4. Whatever that looks like for you, and you make that happen. Because when you do this, you will have more clarity. You'll have a better life, and also you'll make better choices. And you'll be able to stay out of your head, going to that fear, going to pain, going to places that you're worried about. So you know what? Just imagine if every human being on the planet understood how simple breathing techniques release negative and unwanted energy, and how to develop a self-care routine to keep doing this. This energy would absolutely is the vibrational field within yourself, which in turn would create a ripple effect of positive energy that would impact the whole world. Feel that for a minute as you take another deep breath, as you breathe in hold, and out. Again. Just imagine everyone taking deep breaths. And this would resonate out to all. And this ripple effect would be amazing, wouldn't it? Feel that. Know that it's there for you right now. This is how I can maintain being able to have high energy, being able to feel, being able to stand, and being in chronic pain, but yet being there for you, being there for the planet, being there for all of humanity, all of nature, and breathing into and sending energy. And you know, by being in this place of calmness, what happens is we're able to connect on a different level to all that there is. And this will help you to have a better life, to see things differently outside, and to calm yourself. These I invite you to put into practice every day and to share this with everyone. And there's so many more that I have over these 30 years that I'd love to give to you. And just imagine, I imagine it every day, one person at a time that learns how to shift your vibrational field with your breath. And you know, this is why I say, change your mindset, energize your life, and shine on. Because you truly shine, and you really do matter. Your vibration matters in the collective. So thank you everyone for being here. I am honored by each and every one of you. And I know that this simple little tool, technique, you will take on and just do so that you can calm yourself in this interesting world we have going on every day of stress. So thank you so much to Speakers Pathway Coalition for giving me this platform. I so appreciate and sending love and light.
Thank you, Angel. I mean, every time that I'm around you and hear you speak, it just blows me away. That's the first time I've ever heard about breathing out and being able to lose weight. I know some people are going to say, hey, I'm going to be trying that one because it's just really amazing. And I just want to thank you so very much for all of your positive energy. You are the shine on lady. And we just love you here at Speakers Pathway. And, you know, just all the blessings that you've been to many, many people and helping them. And just thank you so very, very much for taking time out of your busy schedule, because a lot of people right now are needing to get in touch with you. And just in case someone would like to know more about you, what's your website, please?
AngelMarieShines.com.
AngelMarieShines.com. That just describes you up at one side and down the other. And yeah, thank you again. And your beautiful pup, Shine, be sure and tell her I said hello. I just love that little dog to death, and because I'm a Australian cattle dog guy myself, Blue Heeler. And again, thank you so very much. And ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for being with us today. The live broadcast will be recorded, and it is being recorded, I should say. And in addition to that, it will be available on speakerspathway.com. Again, this presentation is being brought to you by speakerspathway.com and networktogether.net. Please visit those websites and get to know more about both of the organizations, especially there in this day and time. We all need some help. There's a lot of free information, and most importantly, how to get you and your community organized and help one another during this time. On tomorrow's show, we got three lovely ladies. We will have Amber Griffiths. Amber's going to talk to us about You Are Meant for More. Brand, B-R-A-N-D, brand like it. Instead of act like it, brand like it. I like that. Also, Andrea Roberts, how the good can help you manage anxiety and stress. That's another great topic for this day and time. And our third speaker will be Annette Gale, how to remove the spirit of fear, which can affect our health. My goodness, I am so looking forward to that because those are great topics for this day and time. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Jim Grant. I'm the co-founder of SpeakersPathway.com. I'm also me and Don McGrath, we host the Your Future is Now on the TogiNet, TOGINET radio station. Thank you so much for being with us today. We'll be with you tomorrow. We got those speakers. We'll be with you Monday through Friday. This is episode number 1. Please be sure and share that episode with others that can use the beautiful information that's been shared today. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.